Okay, so thank you everyone also for joining today and our yearly AGM. So of course today we'll be discussing a brief section of the call, what we've done so far, and what we intend to do because of the new changes in the industry, and how we intend to achieve this roadmap for all our partners today. And of course, it's not strange for us to understand that today CBN has recently announced that all accounts without BVN or NIN should be blocked, and some of the banks are impatient to even wait to the deadline, which is next year, April. A lot of them have started taking actions over this. So of course we have people like Coronation, GTB even infected it and started blocking all accounts which do not have, and of course one have been sent across other parties. So of course next year will begin to be a much amazing year, but as also well, and a bit yeah, and tough for businesses. So what we are trying to do is to prepare all business owners, right, against the future, so they don't be taken unaware or by surprise at any point of time, right? So I want to appreciate everyone that have stayed 1, 2, 3 years or more using wide, and of course the coming year will make us 6 years operations. And I want to thank everyone that has stayed with us. Please mute yourself if you are unmuted. I want to thank everyone that has been using our solution for this set period. And of course, today, this year, we exceed our routing when it comes to the e-banking sector. And on this year alone, we processed over 2 billion USD for businesses, right? So of course, this is basically trust that these businesses have allowed their customer pass their funds through the wired banking ecosystem to ensure transparency between the customer and the merchant, or the customer and the financial institution, and to also allow the customer access their fund 24/7, irrespective of where they find themselves, right? So of course, based on the new changes in the marketplace, what we intend to do right now is we've already started a discussion with asset metrics, and we also started talking with Minia, which is our providers today. Now, all partners of wired banking are recommended to open an account with these providers, especially asset metrics. So your funds settlement will no longer be routed on wired banking in the coming year, right? So this simply means if your customers send money, we keep the records, right? The record does not change. We keep the record. You can see your record in wired banking, but the funds can be accessed in your provider. So if, of course, if you prefer asset metrics, the funds will be credited into your asset metrics account with the banks, right? So of course you're able to easily access your funds with them. We'll also create possibility for those who already have a custom app today, so that their customers can also be able to spend from their custom app via an API call. So this simply means that whenever your customer wants to transfer, it's no longer passing through wired banking, but it's passing through the processing bank to whatever destination bank that your customer has selected. The reasons why we're actually doing this, because of the regulatory measures, though we do not keep funds today, but we want businesses to have control over their funds, and all disputes and declined transactions are being routed to the bank directly instead of wired banking. Well, I appreciate that a lot of people want wire banking to handle these transactions for them, because wire banking in most cases want to confirm if this transaction was true or not, and release value to the merchant or to the partner instantly while we follow up with the bank. but on the coming year, it may likely not be exactly so, because what we intend to do today is to route all transactions to the bank. This simply means your money is with your bank, right? Your money is with your bank. But of course, why we prefer our suggested bank, so that you receive your settlement on time. If any bank that is not in our ecosystem integrated, it's likely to pass through wallet to bank transfer, which will take a longer time for you to receive your settlement. And during this period, you may likely experience failed transaction. So to avoid this, we just want to stick with banks who can share their legal APIs with us, which allows us to smoothly run settlement without declining, without failing, right? So that once your customer make payments, you receive your settlement in your routing bank. And of course, your customer can also access this from your routing bank. Same theory occur. When your customer wants to perform a bank transfer, want to withdraw their money, we make call to your processing bank to know if there are money there. Of course, if there is, we debit your processing bank and issue same to the customer. So this simply will allow your this will simply will allow your customer access the fund directly from your processing bank. And also, if there is any decline of transaction, you need to engage your processing bank. This simply also means that all failed transaction requests being sent to wire bank will no longer be so. The processing bank which you have preferred, we take responsibility for reversal and also reconciliation of data real time. I see a lot of people are saying they can't hear me. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh,
I can hear you from here.
okay, so I think Ibrahim, iPhone, Ramadi, thereabouts. You've not enabled your, what's it called? You've not enabled your mic. You need to do that, right? So that the platform will allow you to synchronize with the meeting, right? So I think once you've done that, you'll be in. Okay, thank you, Ibrahim. You are in already. Right. Okay, so basically that's basically what we intend to do on the coming year. So for the virtual accounts, that are already been created. I know a lot of people have concerns since we are moving us to bank. What happened to our existing account number? Of course, if it's within the asset metrics ecosystem, we are totally in full control, because we are the one that built that we are part of the people that build the ecosystem of asset metrics. So we have a kind of control over what the API. We know what exactly we want to achieve, right? Likewise, the Barney section. So of course, while we are routing into this, they are CBN licensed organization, and they're also licensed to hold funds, right? We do not want to migrate it to someone who do not have a license to hold fund, to avoid story that touch the heart, right? So we want to migrate to someone that has CBN license and also is insured, right? So your funds are insured, right? And the other part of it, which I totally recommend everybody, and I keep saying it 24/7, it's not that wire banking is not secure, but like I recommend for everybody, if you monitor your wallet and you see that you've received 10 million naira, don't leave the 10 million naira in wired banking. What is ideal that we recommend for everybody, right, continually, it's move 5 million, 7 million to whatever preferred bank that you have, right? Whatever preferred bank that you have, then keep monitoring your account. That is why we introduce a low balance notification. This simply means each time your balance is low, you automatically get a notification to top up your balance. The essence of this is for you to have this control over the resource or the funds of your customers, right? In as much as we work with the processing bank, in as both as wired banking today, we do not store all our funds in one place, right? We currently work with over 10 banks, and that is where all customers' money are split between all the banks. The reason is, in case if one bank has issue, we automatically switch to another bank. So we'll have a kind of Sterling. Sterling is our settlement bank for asset metrics. So Sterling, for example, has been down for like about 3 weeks. Sterling Bank has been down in API routing for settlement for about 3 weeks. So now all settlement have for this period of time has been declining. So let's assume that a Sterling Bank will be using continually, or it's only Sterling Bank we decide to use all through, right? The way they are having difficulties right now, this simply means that all customers transaction will keep experiencing failure, right? So another recommendations I will also do with, to ensure the consistency whenever that the customer needed their funds is available, we ensure that we do not store funds in one specific banks. Our funds are split in various partner banks. So whenever a customer is available, we also run reconciliation with these banks to ensure that, oh, the funds are up to date and customers are easily able to access their funds irrespective of the bank. And wherever bank one is down, the other bank take responsibility of the disbursement, and no one is left out, or no one will say, oh, I cannot access my fund. Because that's one of the things with customer. Once they cannot access their funds, they start raising a negative alarm, right? And this can totally affect you. It might not be just because or from you, right? But because they try to assess it for a while and they are unable, so they just start raising alarm. So of course, this also replicates to the Sterling Bank, which I've told you today. So assume that we've put all our head in one places, just like Sterling Bank is having issues for like 3 weeks, unable to process our settlements, right? And they are the only one that will put all our heads to. A lot of people, we won't enjoy wired banking because we'll still be having a complaint every day of the time. But of course, what we've done today is whichever bank that we think that it's running real time, we reconcile our funds on that particular bank and route the transactions, right? But of course, the bit of what we want to do right now, where we want to reduce, because based on the CBA regulatory now, we want to reduce this workload for ourselves and allow the businesses manage and reconcile their funds by themselves. So of course, just like I say, on the coming year, will route most of the settlement to the provided bank. So of course, if you decide that you want to use a third-party bank as your settlement bank, fantastic for you. But this simply means as you receive funds immediately, wire banking, either a charge apply for that particular thing, we call it authorization charge. So on the authorization charge, this simply means that if wire banking decide to charge you 10 naira authorization charge, if you receive 1 million naira, we just check our 10 naira authorization charge. The bank will take responsibility of taking their charges from you, right? So what basically we'll be doing on the coming year is authorization charge, communication between your preferred bank and your customer to your preferred bank and its kind. And of course, I believe that that will totally help the way we handle these funds, and also give you this leverage of know what bank is charging you real time, right? And also we also have concern for those who are raising that why is wire banking charging high. So of course, one thing you should understand that these banks are not giving us free of charge API, which we've said this last year. Of course, for those who have joined us this year, wire banking is not giving us charge. For those people who are referencing, people like PalmPay, OPay are free. Understand that these people own this license, right? They own this license. So the legal way for you to run this transaction, one is for you to have your license. Once you have your license, you share it with NIMS. NIMS generate your own bank code for you. And if you are qualified either in branch A or branch B, they route you and allow and notify all banks to be added, for you to be added as list of banks, right? And once you are added for the list of banks, your charges is less because you are in total control of the ecosystem, right? All payments being done. What is happening as you open your PalmPay account or phone number, as the case may be, on the route that payment, it goes to NIMS. PalmPay also have a settlement account, must not be with PalmPay. PalmPay settlement account, mostly NIMS are using FCMB, Sterling Bank, and Providence, mostly commercial banks. That's what they use for settlement, right? So basically, as they route all those transactions to them, the destination banks still charge the banks for settlements, right? Mostly they want to charge them for VAT. Mostly they want to charge them for settlement authorization, depending on the agreements of those banks. But mostly on the inflow, NIMS is charge free, right? So it's the bank that take responsibility of the other with their settlement banks. So that's why it's a kind of easier for OPay or PalmPay to decide to tell you, oh, I don't want to charge my customer. But hence the license does not belong to you. You are a third party. You want to connect to them. One of the things they consider is, what is my profit? Why should I give you my APIs? Why should I allow you to leverage on my infrastructure, right? So if you said it is value, it is funds that they will generate, or it is revenue that they are going to generate from this partnership, they want to know how much, right? So possibly you may likely deal with them. So, okay, I'll give you some are kind enough, they'll tell you a flat fee, right? Some are not kind enough. They'll just tell you is by percentage. They'll give you 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, depending on the bank. Then they'll not cap it for you. Sometimes they'll cap it at 300, sometimes they'll cap it at 100 naira, sometimes they cap it at 500, depending on the banks. But the last time we pull out from they are capping theirs at 1,000, right? But we have to just reformate our own to cap it at 700, right? So most of all these banks are not giving you for free. Hence, it's not your license. You want to leverage on their license to service your customers. So they won't give you for free. They can only do the free thing for their customers. So even though they majorly call it free, they still their VAT and their what's it called? Their stamp duty. So most of all these banks, they are not charging their customer 15 naira. They still remit it to CBN. They still pay CBN that 15 naira. But why are they doing it? They are doing this to attract more customer, right? But so some of the mobile money today decide not to bear it anymore. Some of them are not bearing it anymore. As you make that payment, the debit VAT or stamp duty depending on the transaction routing, because at the end of the month, CBN will ask them, right? Some are kind enough to bear it and pay CBN from the revenue that they've generated. Some are not kind enough. Some want the customer to pay for this routing. So mostly as you are connecting with them, as they are bearing the one of their customer, they will not bear your own as a third party connecting to their service provider. So that's why it's not the same what OPay is offering their customer with you as a third party offering to your customers, right? So they are billing you for using the service. Hence, you are not their customer. You are a merchant leveraging on their APIs service to your customer. So they want to benefit from the transaction. That's why they are charging, right? But of course, on the coming year, we are working on a better fee. And of course, we started with I think about 400, but for this down up to cap at 100. And even on the coming, we are looking at less at cap at 100 and even less than that. You guys are very wonderful, depending on the adaptability of the bank real time. Right. So we'll be opening the floor right now for those who want to ask their questions and who want to make their contributions for them to go ahead and do same. Thank you. Yeah, please go ahead, ask your question. If you are not talking, you can also mute yourself. Yeah, Mr. Gabriel, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, please. Thank you. Let me first commend you for all you do and the sincerity at which wire banking has worked. I've been with you people for about 2 years now, and I must say that I appreciate because one thing about this kind of operation is trust. Let me say that for all these years, where banking have proven to be trustworthy, and I'm a chartered accountant. So, and when I see things, I look at the process, the transparency of the process. and I must commend you and your team for doing that. I joined a little late. I missed out something very vital. I think you were talking. The account you're talking about, is it the individual customer account or our own wallet account? I heard moving to matrix. Is it just for the wallet account? That's the business wallet account, or the individual? Because for customer, we have some customer whose their account is GT, some Wema, some this. Those accounts will continue to operate as they are, or everything is moving to matrix? I just want clarification. Secondly, this is on personal note. We are looking at part of our next year plan to go into aspect of the card issuance, because of the cashless system. Before now, we have two method customer access their phone. You can come to the office and we attend to you as teller. You fill form, we take the money from your account, give you cash. But of recent, this cash issue, like this December now, we have a lot of need for withdrawal, and cash has been a very major challenge to us. So, because we have some customers who maybe don't have Android phone, sometimes you could have issue with. So, as a company, we are looking at, there's a need to go into card.
Okay, Mr. Gabriel, thank you. I think your question is quite clear enough. So of course, in the first instance, what you said.
So I want to ask that. So those are my two. What's the process if one wants to enroll for that? So those are my two questions.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Mr. Gabriel. Okay, so discussing on the settlement bank, so is the business account that changes at this point, right? So what this simply means is, because what we've done, what we do today is, as you receive funds from your customer, or as your customer receive funds into their virtual accounts, we try to credit the customer the value, and also credit you as a business owner the exact value that the customer received minus the charges, right? But all we are saying, the settlement account for the business itself are likely not to be settled on the wired banking anymore, right? We've started talking to our processing bank. So all you needed to do, for example, if you want to work with Access Metric, which we preferred, right? Now, you have this account with Asset Metrics. On your settlement route dashboard, you just update it as your settlement Asset Metric as your settlement account. So as your customer receive, your pool account with wire banking is no longer being credited at this time, right? The money is automatically moved to your Asset Metric corporate account, right? So on the Asset Metric corporate account, you'll be credited. However, we'll create a mirror where on the wired banking system, you can see the, what's it called, the mirror of the total amount that Asset Metrics has collected on your behalf from all your customers. So of course, on the cardless policy, of course, on the coming year is going to be even much improved, right? Based on all these changes that has been on the place, right? So of course, we'll have multiple options before now. We have the USSD options, which customer with non-smartphone are easily able to dial this code for them to carry out transactions such as checking their balances, purchasing airtime, bank transfers, and its kind. This service is available for unlearned persons who are unable to use this USSD service to carry out these transactions. We also have in place today, which is the card service, which is the direct card, where you're able to issue these direct cards to your customer, and they also able to spend whatever value that they have in equivalent via the direct card. So in both ways, so if you have customer who has smartphone, fantastic. And for those without smartphone, they can leverage on the USSD options or channel or the card channel for them to have access to their funds. I believe that should answer your question.
Yes, I'm only asking how to go about the card is for the USSD and the app we're already on. How
Yes.
to go about the card?
Yeah, so I think we've drawn the document regarding this. We'll redrop it again on the group. So the first thing you do is to sign up on the wireless verify dashboard, then purchase your cards, right? Purchase your cards from the wired banking and start integrating them to your customers. That's basically it today, right? Sign up with your one-time sign-up fee and purchase your card, and you are good to go. Except in a condition where you want to now connect to InterSwitch directly. Yes, we also support this, but however, you need to pay for your setup fee with InterSwitch, which is equivalent to about 3 million, a one-time fee today. But of course, if you're unable to afford the 3 million, you can less leverage on the wired banking ecosystem, where you subscribe with a minimum, or where you pay a setup fee of 20,000, as low as 20,000 naira. It's a one-time fee also. And so of course, a lot of people want to know why would InterSwitch be charging 3 million, why bank will be charging 20,000. Okay, so to clear that out today, the only difference is right now, InterSwitch want to give you what they call beam, right? Every card has beam, which is the 16 or 19 digits in the prefix of the cards, right? So that's the only thing that changes. The another thing also that changes is who did they issue this beam to? Is it wired banking, right? So of course, if it's your organization that issued this beam to, your logo is likely to be appended in the back of it, right? So that is just the differences. But the procedure and the routing of the card works similarly and exactly same thing. So it's basically the design and the prefix of the beam number of the card, which you can also call PAN number, right? So the beam random beam is what they use to generate PAN number, which is the 16 or 19 digits of the phone number. So of course, that's basically what you are paying InterSwitch for that sum, of course. But if you do not want to go into that route, you can also leverage on wire banking and get the same result at the end of the day. The fact is, let the card work and let your customer be able to spend their funds. So of course, that's basically what you can also get today, leveraging on wire banking with your 20,000 naira connection fee, right? The same value, the same procedures, right? Except if you now want your beam, basically, of course, you can have your beam on that regard. Okay, I think we're having disruption of service on Zoom. You may likely need to rejoin again in case if you are logged out. Please go ahead, ask your questions. If anyone has any question, go ahead, ask. You are all muted.
Hello, good evening. My name is Joseph Aruti, or Global Resources Managers Limited. I'll be having challenges with network. Thank God that I've been able to connect now. I'm just joining in. So probably I've missed a lot too. You're saying that we should ask questions. Is it a general question, whatever that is bothering us, or is it particular to what you'll be saying, which I am not privy to? So let me just know this before I say.
Yeah, you can.
Thank you.
You can ask any question at all. You have the room to ask.
It's okay. It's okay. The issue of the tier is my major concern because despite the fact that we know we are running visual accounts, not all the customers are familiar with whether the account is visual or whatsoever. They always compare us to whatever that is happening in the industry. So when some of our charges are exorbitant, they will begin to think as if we are extorting them, despite our explanation to them. So they also compare us to some other banking, which they call it, they normally refer to us as online banks. So they always compare us to other online banks in quotes. Talking about the tier one, for instance, most of the banks, their tier one just have to do with only the of kind of a withdraw up to if it is compared to ours that is being 5,000 naira at a glance and 10,000 for the whole day. I don't know whether it can be upgraded to kind of let tier two be tier one so that tier three can be tier two, so that our customer can, because we are losing a lot of customer based on this now. So this is the area I want to ship in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joseph. All right, so on the pricing, we've actually talked about this. The issues right now on the charges base. I know a lot of customers want to raise concern. OP is charging us, it's not charging us, Money Points is not charging us, and this and that. So the reason, like I previously mentioned, these banks or this Momo already have their license, right? So the fee is already routed to them via NIMS or their settlement bank, which is very, very low for them. And they can decide today to say, I don't want to charge my customer, right? So in as much that they don't want to charge you, but at the end of the day, some of them charge what they call maintenance fee, while some of them do not also charge you in one way or the other, right? But in other ways, they are paying lesser fee. So for wire banking or for any partner who want to leverage on that same service to render to their customers, they want to know in most cases, right? So even these money points that we are even talking about, they have fintech, right? And this fintech is called Monify. And in Monify, this same money points that is giving their customer free of charge deposits, if you go to their fintech, which is where they share API integration for third party, Money Point as of today is charging 1.2%, 1%, yeah, 1%, 1.2% cap at 2,000 naira. In some cases, depending on the conversation, the cap it at 1,000 naira. So you see the same provider providing two different services. If you are their customer, it's free. If you are not their customer, want to use their API, they charge you. So that's how these banks works, right? So the way they work it, before they can be able to release this integration with your system, they want to know what they will benefit or what they will gain. And when you now crown all this upfront, they want to charge you fee, which of course you can come to an agreement. Some of them want to charge you a flat fee, while some of them want to charge you by percentage. So depending on the structure of what they want to charge you, that's basically what you can now route to their customers. But the only space where you can have charge-free ecosystem is when you have your CBN license integrated to NIMS directly. So even if NIMS is charging, for example, a 7 naira, you can now decide to say, I don't want to charge my customer, it's totally free. Of course, it's between you and your NIMS and between you and whatever route that you decide to use. But for now, as long as you're using third party, you cannot do without those charges. But the only thing that we are working as a partner is to ensure that all the charges are minimized. You can agree with us, last year, the charges was higher, and we promised even on our AGM that the prices will be minimized to the lowest, which of course we've done our part this year, and next year will be even lesser more. Our aim is to